Welcome to Theater Corner. I'm your host, Michael Taylor. Theater Corner is created as an ongoing effort to increase more diverse interest and involvement in the theater scene. Today, we're shooting from the pool hall in a spirit of our next interview, which is with J. Bernard Calloway, who plays Nathan Detroit in the American classic Guys and Dolls. This is being performed at the Old Globe Theater until August 13th, 2017. So, silence your cell phones, folks. You're about to enter Theater Corner. Here we are with J. Bernard Calloway. Welcome to Theater Corner, brother, or welcome back to Theater Corner.
Yes.
Because actually, this is the very first video interview we ever did here on Theater Corner was with J. Bernard Calloway when he was here last year performing as the Grinch at the Old Globe Theater. Which speaking of such, tons of people out there, they're sitting on the edge of their seats. They want to know is if J. Bernard Calloway is coming back for a third year of the Grinch. What do you say to that?
It is my intent to be here for the 20th anniversary this year.
Very good.
It is my intent to be here.
You're still waiting for the word?
Yeah, still waiting for the word. There are these things we call negotiations that's going on. So everything seems all in place. It's just finalizing everything. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Boom.
And so, like I said, you're the first person to appear on Theater Corner a second time. Those that didn't see the first interview, which they can on their website, but just kind of bring us up to speed. How did J. Bernard get to where he is right now?
Well, through I'd say starting in school. Back in 1992, went to Alabama State University, where I got my BA in theater there, and then onward to graduate school, where I got my MFA in acting at Brandeis University. And from there, I moved to New York City in 2000. I picked up an agent and went through the whole thing of waiting tables and catering and all that great stuff that actors do to keep the lights on.
Pay your dues.
Pay my dues, earn my stripes.
All right.
But thank goodness I've been in favor with a lot of good people. I've built a lot of great relationships. And I've done a lot of work across the board: film, television, commercials, voiceovers, in theater. Which brings me here to 2007. It expands over to Broadway, regional work, being on set and working with really great people and great stars, learning a lot, being a sponge and absorbing and sucking everything up, and meeting great people like yourself, man. I'm glad to be here on this anniversary to pay homage to you, man. Happy anniversary to you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Theater Corner is the bomb.
All right, I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me, man.
No, it's a great pleasure. You're always welcome here. This is your home as well.
Right on.
So with your talk about film, you performed with Denzel Washington.
Yep.
Pelham 1, 2, 3.
Pelham 1, 2, 3. Yep.
And also long stint on Broadway.
Yep.
It was Memphis.
Memphis the musical.
The musical.
Then the second Broadway show would be which would be the play. All the Way, that starred Bryan Cranston.
Right.
And in both respects, we won Tonys. So
wow,
I could say that I was part of a Tony-winning musical and a Tony-winning play.
You're in the business.
In the business, brother. I'm in the business, man. So yeah.
And so coming up to where we are now, 2017, you are at the Old Globe. But not for the Grinch this time. Right now you're doing Guys and Dolls.
Yes.
It's again why I said we're in a pool hall. Got our money down here. You've been taking all my money.
Man, hey, I do what I gotta do.
Right. And so, my goodness, I went to see that performance twice. Guys and Dolls.
Right.
You just tore. You're playing a leading role.
Nathan Detroit.
Nathan Detroit,
Yeah.
and it's just phenomenal.
Thank you,
phenomenal.
man. Thank you.
What's the experience like?
I have to tell you, I would never, first of all, think that I would ever have the opportunity to play Nathan Detroit in Guys and Dolls, because traditionally it wasn't written for people of my hue, I would say.
Right.
So I'm thanking God that Barry and the Old Globe and they're taking a chance and going what we call non-traditional and switching up the culture to the show. And but the great part about the show is that the way Frank Lesser and Mr. Runyon wrote it, you could put anybody from any background into these stories, into this story, because of the human condition.
Right.
People out there trying to survive and hustle, and you're dealing with love and relationships and trying to make all those things work. And when all those things come to a head, this is what happens out of it. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And there's an explosion that happens with it, and it's been a really, really great experience working with Josh Rhodes, who's the director / choreographer. And just believing in me and just laying this iconic role in front of me and say, hey man, go forth and play, and always staying in due bounds of how he directs the show and his vision for it, And I'm glad to be a part of it. It is something I can say that I'm very proud and honored to have on my resume now.
Well, it looks like you have fun up there, brother.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things that stand out. When I was sitting there watching the performance, number one is your facial expressions. You got to, you really breathe some life into this character.
Thank
The other
you.
thing, I hope you could speak on, is the accent.
Oh man,
that's not a simple thing.
No, it's not. And being in New York City, I have an idea.
Yeah, you got an advantage.
But you know what though, Doc? You're talking about time periods. Those things change. We're talking about a piece that was written for like the late 40s, early 50s.
Okay.
So what I did was, first I watched the movie. I did, and all respect to Brother Sinatra, Frank Sinatra, and Marlon Brando, who both played Sky and Nathan in the actual screenplay. But I decided not to watch it anymore, so I don't pick up any kind of idiosyncrasies that he had.
Okay.
And put any ideas in my head. And I wanted to be fresh and create from the ground up for myself, for my version of Nathan Detroit. But the thing that really helped me out with the accent was watching this movie called A Bronx Tale, starring Robert De Niro. Which was, I think it was shot in like the early 90s or the late 80s. And there's some great scenes. There's one great scene where they're shooting crap in a cellar, and that's what we do in the show. Like, we shoot crap, we roll the dice. And that whole camaraderie and the back and forth of the rhythm and the energy of how that actually works. And to hear those accents, man, to hear those Italian, New York Italian accents, and that's really where I got the groundwork from. In my palette, picking that up, and it was incredible to watch. It's now one of my favorite movies to watch. I'd never seen it before this, but for my homework, that's what I watched, was A Bronx Tale.
Well, I found myself leaving that theater, couldn't get it out of my head. Sue me, sue me.
Oh man, why don't you come in and step in and bring you over there and let you do a show? You ready to rock, Doc?
Maybe I should think about that. So what you got after the Globe?
Yeah.
So you're going up to the Mark Taper.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Going up to the Mark Taper. I'm doing a piece called Head of Passes, which stars the wonderful and classy and funny and dramatic Miss Felicia Rashad.
Wow.
What an honor to work with a person, a human being like that. She's such a great human being. And the piece is once again, about family and legacy. Is what it's about. It's written by Brother Terrell Alvin McCraney, who won the Oscar for Moonlight.
Right.
And also directed by the fabulous Tina Landau. We did this production out at the Public Theater in New York last year. And, bringing it to the boards, the Mark Taper on the West Coast to, give you all a little good taste of some good drama. I would call it some good drama.
I'm looking forward to it. You better believe you look out in the audience, you're gonna see this little face. Right? So, I'm your biggest fan. So I'll follow you
right
around.
Back at you. Right back at you. Right back at you. Right back at you. Yeah.
And so you're married.
Yes.
To an actress, the lovely Carmen Calloway.
Yeah.
So you guys are kind of like a Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee kind of energy going on. What is that like? How do you balance that? Where both of you are performers, and you have a son,
Right? Yes.
Adam.
Jacob Adam.
Jacob
yeah,
Adam.
yeah,
and
yeah.
so, what is that like? I mean,
man, it's a beautiful thing because you're partnering up with someone who understands the business, who understands the late hours of sitting up and trying to breathe life into words and taking words off of the script, understanding that sometimes you're going to be doing a lot of theater, sometimes you're going to be doing film and television, and so your schedule isn't as tough to deal with, because we both understand it as performing artists, and it's great to be married to somebody who happens to be a person of color also. So we understand what that dynamic is about what's being put out there and what's not being put out there and how tough it can be. So it's great to have her because she counsels me a lot in that on that tangent, and I also counsel her in that way too. They're here. My family's here with me in San Diego.
Right.
We basically just moved our office from Manhattan to San Diego, our second home here. And she works, while I'm doing shows, she's working out of San Diego and working abroad in the States. She works with Vanessa Williams, the Vanessa Williams. She sings background for her, and she also does her 12 o'clock number also too. It's a really, really great relationship. Bringing Jacob into the game just changed everything. I understand.
I can imagine.
I understand what's the priority and what's real and what's important.
Right.
What's authentic and genuine is that little boy that came into our lives. And it just makes us work that much harder because we want him to have what we never could have.
Right.
You know what I mean? We want to leave that with him, and break that generational curse that we have with people of color in the world, period, with understanding that, what you put into your kids is what they're going to take and give to their kids and give to their kids, so it can become a great generational thing to have, versus the struggle and the suffering that we always go through because of the choices we are not making to make that happen. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want, of course, Jacob is going to work hard. He's going to have his own struggles, but I don't want him to have to struggle as much as we had to.
I hear you.
To get where we are. So if buying property in New York City is one of those things,
there you
and
go.
I can give that property to him as we buy more property, then that's something he doesn't have to worry about.
Yeah. Generational wealth.
Yes,
indeed.
you know what I mean? So that idea is what I'm trying to instill in him and my family as a household.
All right.
To build on.
Okay, then. We'll do a shout out to Carmen. Woot woot.
Hey, baby, what's happening, boo?
And so, I would like for you to speak, maybe give some advice to young actors that might be just starting out. What would you say to a young fledgling actor?
Well, as you begin your process and you build your career and your resume, begin to always understand what your worth is. Once you understand what your worth is, then you will know not to ever lowball yourself. You will understand what that is in the dynamic of how this business works. So self-worth is very important, and always believe in yourself. Just always believe in yourself, because that's where it starts. If you don't believe in yourself, then the people that's watching are not going to believe in you also.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hope they're taking notes.
Yeah,
And I know that's coming from the heart too.
It's definitely all coming from the heart, because we're our own producers as performing arts. At least that's how I see it.
Right.
I'm my own product, I'm my own brand, and I have a great team around me. And I think if you make the choice to understand what that team is about in building and uplifting your career, I think that you can never go wrong in the sense of understanding that there is no right and wrong. You're doing what works for you.
Okay.
And if you understand that about yourself and what works for you, you can build on that. You can build on that, and people can understand what that is and know what to do with your brand. I think that's where that worth comes from, and understanding. And a lot of, it's going to take some time sometimes, and don't be afraid to work hard. That's what it's about. You got to be patient with yourself, but you also got to put in the work. You always got to be prepared, and you always got to be ready. Show up. That's the biggest thing.
There you go.
You show up and be ready. Hey man, you're taking care of at least 60%.
Right.
Of the business.
Very good.
That happens to be show.
Let me take some of them notes down there myself. I would improve my own career as well.
Oh man!
Thank you, sir, for that free seminar.
Anything I can do, any nuggets of information I can give you, brother.
I appreciate you.
Oh man!
So here we are. So what's coming up next? Other than the Mark Taper, you're doing Head of Passes. What else is in the future for Jay Bernard?
Well, outside of the biggest show of being a father and being a husband, that's priority. But I did this show on VH1 called The Breaks.
That's right.
Last year, and we're coming back, but we're switching networks. It's going from VH1 to BET. There is not a set shoot date when that is going to happen just yet. But I know it is transferring there, and then I know it's also going to be shooting in a whole different place than New York City. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Follow us on the breaks. Google us, check us out, and so you can stay abreast of what's going on. Because if you saw it last year, everything was pretty juicy. We left y'all a little cliffhanger, so be ready for it. Be ready.
Very good. Very good indeed.
Message.
Sell it.
That's it.
So very good. I tell you what, I really appreciate you coming back here and increasing the value of Theater Corner by sitting here with me.
Thank you, man.
And,
likewise.
And I'm going to continue to follow you, and I appreciate what you're doing. You're representing us very well.
Thank you, brother. Thank you very much.
And so it'd be great. I hope you come back for the second anniversary.
Right on. Right on, man.
I expect to see you here. So for right now, you need to give me a chance to win my money back.
Oh no, you're not getting any of that back. You sure you want to do this, man? You sure you want to continue this, brother?
I got groceries to buy. I need to chance to. So for me, it's luck be a lady tonight.
Oh Lord, I told you this boy's ready for the stage, man. Y'all got to get him out there, man.
All right, brother.
Hey.
All right, I love you. I appreciate you, and man, keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much, man.
And thank you, viewers, for tuning in to another episode of Theater Corner, and we'll see you next time.